Hi there, I'm Aimee of Refuge Yoga and all things wellness. We're going to do a few minutes of meditation, and this meditation specifically is for that opportunity for you to inject meditation into the middle part of your day, the later part of your day, because you didn't get to it at the time, or maybe you had one that you're like, I didn't really feel like that helped, or that, something happened from that. Or maybe you just haven't done meditation for a while, so this is an opportunity to go, you know what, fuck it, it's 10 minutes, whatever, I'll just do it, and just see what comes about that. So, let's begin. Please sit in a comfortable way. So by that, I mean, figure out what's going to make you comfortable. So you have the option of sitting in a chair. You have the option of sitting on the floor. You have the option of whatever is going to make you feel comfortable. Now, I also recommend, if you're sitting, that you put something underneath you. Pillow, thick blanket, I don't know, a couple of old school phone books, whatever's going to work, to give yourself a space where your hips are higher than your knees. When your hips are tight, the knees tend to rise up, and it's going to make, for a lot of compression in your low back. So do pause this video and figure out the position that you want to be in that feels good to you. Because if it doesn't feel good to you, if you can't get comfortable, therefore, how are you going to relax? Let alone come into a different space in mind. So, pause and figure it out, and then hit play. All right, so you got yourself as comfortable as you can possibly be. And don't write off, some people say, I don't want to meditate because I really want to lay down, and I feel like that's not okay. I'm going to tell you, break some of your belief system about what you think you should be or how you think you should be in meditation. Get comfortable. And if it feels comfortable for you to lay down, do it. Even if you were to fall asleep, you would still receive something from this. Even in your, your subconscious will still receive something from this. So as comfortable as you can be, take awareness to your breathing. Open your mouth super wide. Exhale all your air out. Now, I had a lot to expel. And if I expel all of it, and if you expel all your breathing, all the carbon dioxide that gets all trapped and stale and held, there's a new space in your lungs. And you can take a little bit more of a bigger breath, the more you really finish out that exhalation. So you're clearing, and you're clearing yourself for something more and something new. And the new is always better than the old. Exhale again, all that you have. Open your mouth super wide and move that air all the way down to the bottom of your lungs. Go now. Slowly take in a breath. Hold that breath, please. To a count of 6, if you can. Exhale it out. To a count of 6, maybe 7 or 8. When you get all the air out, the next breath comes in in a much calmer, almost quieter way. Take in your breath. Please hold it. again, to a count of 6, maybe 4 or 5 if that's what you're working with. Just meet yourself where you're at. Exhale it out to a count of the number you took in or a little bit beyond it. Nice and easy, breathe in. Pause it. I'm not asking you to pause it to hold your breath and torture you. I'm asking you to pause it because I'm asking you to pause, hit the pause button on your usual surface thinking. The thoughts that you have, one right after the other. You have a thought, and then it leads you to this thought and that thought, and then it's like a whole friggin' air hockey. Like, mindset. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. When you slow down the breathing, and when you actually halt the breathing, but then exhale it out, not just hold on to it for dear life, forever and ever, but pause it purposely, and then let it come through. It creates a little bit of space in mind. So what I'm going to ask you to do is I'm going to ask you to breathe in, and breathe in to the top of your lungs, but not overfill. And pause it. Counting. When you get to that number, move the air down to the bottom of your lungs. Like you're fogging up the room with the sound of your breathing. Pause. Then take your next breath in. At the top of that breath, pause. And empty it out to the bottom of your lungs. Envision that image. Move the air through. The way out is through. Slow down your breathing out, but keep it going out steady. At the bottom of the breath, pause. Immediately, right after that pause, your breath comes in all on its own. Mine does too. At the top of the breath, pause. Empty it out to the bottom. At the bottom of the breath, pause. Just slightly. Just for a moment. Nice and easy, take that breath in. Pause. Counting. When you're ready to let it go through, just let it move itself through. To the bottom of your lungs. Open your mouth, move out the sound. Move out the air. Again, bottom of the breath, slight pause. The inhale fills you up for you. It just sort of happens, like it just happens, and it's so less like work. You're not fighting for your air. You're not fighting essentially for your life. When we are in things that we're like, I can't breathe, and you become awake to that and you become aware of it, you'll realize, wow, I really struggle to be in things that I can't really breathe. I struggle to be in places and around certain people where it's like, I can't really relax. Like it takes a lot of forced effort. can't really be in things or be around people where I'm in my head so much, because I can't really feel like I can just be who I am and just be myself in a room. So what I asked you to do a few minutes ago was take a few moments to hit the pause button and get back into a more natural, organic breathing, where there's actually a very organic, concrete pause between the length of your inhale and the length of your exhale. And the longer you make the pause, the more you start interrupting the natural neuro network, same old thinking. You start interrupting the pattern of the way you think day in and day out that you are so used to, that I too have become so used to, that you don't even notice. And man, when we pause, it's like you get outside of that a little bit. And not to mention, the more air you take in, the more it really feeds your brain with fresh oxygen and your lungs with fresh oxygen. And the more it creates, the response, the byproduct is more alertness, the ability to focus. Also the ability to see things as they really are. So your body has all this information. Your body has all this wisdom. Mine does too. And I have to go towards that. You know, for me to speak authentically about anything, I have to go towards all these things. And so if you realize, wow, my breathing has everything to do with, we'll call it the vibration, like the mental and emotional elevator floor of the way I think. If my breathing is relaxed and kind of flowing and effortless, then I'm probably not in a space of feeling like maybe cornered by anxiety or worried thoughts or feeling judged or critical, criticizing, things like that. If I am in a way with myself where my breathing is just sort of doing its own thing, wow, I really feel differently. I think differently, therefore I feel differently. And usually our experiences are experiences with people that are more expansive. You feel just a little bit more safe and secure to breathe and be you. So for these few minutes, where are we at right now? 13. I had a feeling we were a little bit over. So we'll stretch this out to 15 minutes tops. My hope is that I got you so involved in your breathing that you forgot to think. That's key. My other hope is I got you breathing out a little more fully so you could breathe a little more smoothly, with that inhale. My other thing is I hope that we started to smooth out the length, the amount of how much you breathed out, and we made that ability to take in air a little longer, like your ability to exhale, like go long, like I think of a football field and I always think go long with the exhalation. Well, that means you're going to be able to receive a more abundant breath in. It's going to come in a little longer. The more you get the exhale out to the very, 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 very bottom, there's a tiny pause before the next breath comes in, then that means that the way you breathe in is going to start soothing and settling your mind. Now, if that wasn't the case and you found yourself, getting really riled up, so to speak, then I want you to send me a personal email at hyggegirl71@gmail.com. And I want you to explain to me your experience, and I'm going to personally respond back to you, and I'm going to help you take it apart a little bit so you have more insight, because I have a feeling you probably are running ragged, or your life's feeling pretty tense and pretty strained or stressed, and that you probably got a little bit really vulnerable. Therefore, it felt kind of edgy to actually sit still and relax because it's, you're probably pretty hyper alert. All things I can totally relate to, and therefore I feel for you as a result. So I'm happy to do that. You could also email me and tell me your experience in general. If it was awesome and it felt like, oh my God, this was fucking great, then tell me that. If you're like, do more of that, tell me that. So, feel free to give me a personal response. There's a certain number of people, there's certain handpicked people. I don't know who you are, but somehow I know that something bigger does know who's going to find this. And just working with your breathing a little bit and kind of looking at disrupting some of the patterns, just the surface mental chatter that you're like, it's so automatic, you're not even awake to it anymore. You're kind of asleep to it. You're on autopilot of it. Getting a sense of just awareness, because awareness, just mindfulness, and all of those awesome conceptual phrases that look awesome on t-shirts and bumper stickers, it just means, wow, I'm actually awake to what is. So, if you're awake to something that you weren't awake to a few minutes ago, maybe you're breathing, maybe you're like, I don't breathe. Maybe you're like, I can't get air. That means you're holding on to breath. You need to move it out. So you can do this meditation over and over. It's just a stepping stone to get you a little bit on the other side of your norm internally. And to get you a little bit more clued into, are you breathing in a relaxed way? Because that's got everything to do with your day in and day out life, your environment, your circumstances, whatever you got going on, etc. We'll reconnect again. I'll put another video out. I hope this served you in whatever way it needed to, and I'll see you soon. Take really good care, okay? Namaste.